just want to talk about like obviously the injury front. Obviously, first of all, some positive news. Obviously, Hand of Arsenal, very reliable ITK in the Arsenal fan base and the Arsenal space. Obviously, came out with a huge update on a few players, which I'm gonna read out for you guys and obviously discuss. And then just a reaction to obviously a lot of Arsenal players being sent back from international break from mainstream media. Obviously, other opposition fans and content creators, which they're going to, but mainstream media, ex-pros, actually saying some incredible, like, crazy stuff, like Arsenal are cheating, like they're faking injuries. Like, this is the only time Arsenal's, like, anyone in professional football of all time has ever done something like this. But every time, I said this before, anytime Arsenal do something, good, bad, ugly, amazing, it has to be talked about. It has to be talked about. It's not about the fans. People keep on making it about saying, oh, the fans, we hate your fan base, you're loud. Every single fan base is loud, annoying, bipolar, whatever. It's just an Arsenal thing. But digressing, let me stay on the positive first before I get to, slapping some man. So, Hand of Arsenal came out with an Arsenal injury update. He also put a disclaimer saying that obviously the timelines are subject to change depending on the nature of the injury, rehab, and obviously the recovery process. So obviously he's just covering his back in case obviously some of the players aren't back. So starting off with Martin Odegaard. It says Odegaard's pushing to be back for Southampton. It says Arteta's going to make that final call whether he plays in that game or not. So that tells me that Odegaard is very close. Obviously, we'll see in Mikel's press conference, but we already know Mikel is not going to give nothing away. He's going to be like, yeah, we'll see, one more training session, the typical Mikel stuff. But obviously, if he's this close, obviously he probably was close from before. I'll be intrigued to see if he is included in the squad. I don't know if he'll start, but let's see what Mikel does, because you would want to get Odegaard some minutes. Obviously, it's a meaningful game because it's jeopardy, but against the opposition, less opposition, so that he can ramp himself up for the games coming up in the next couple of weeks. But that's positive. Jurriën Timber says Jurriën Timber is also aiming back to be back for Southampton. Arteta's press conference and body language experts are needed. So similar to the Odegaard news, obviously that's positive to know Timber will be back soon. Let's see if Arsenal do play him. Obviously, Ben White would have played, during the international break, 2 games for England, played the back-to-back games in the final and the Leverkusen game since Timber's been injured. So we've got to be careful about him. But yeah, let's see what happens. But just to know that he's very close is good. On Declan Rice, he says, my understanding is that he was carrying knock pre-City, sent home on the advice of the England medical staff, would not be shocked if he is rested this weekend. I expect him to be rested this weekend against Southampton. But obviously he was sent home. Obviously Tuchel gave him and Saka off the first game and then sent him home off the back of obviously Madueke injury and probably some scans. Obviously, and he's been carrying a knock pre-City. That means he's not been 100%, which obviously we expect at this point of the season. But it's also probably the reason why he's been rested, and probably so good that they're getting this rest, obviously, the international break, and then even against this weekend against Southampton. So let's see. On Saka, Saka has been in the red zone of fatigue. The rest has come at a perfect time. Sent home on the advice of England medical staff. Wait to see how he trains this week before Arteta makes a call for this weekend. So I don't want to see Saka play this weekend, but obviously with the Madueke injury, will be intriguing to see what he can start. I think he can start a front line that doesn't include Saka, and there still be enough quality for us to win. If Saka's in the red zone, and you can kind of tell and see in that final performance, and obviously I get to some of the quotes Thomas Tuchel said about Saka and Rice, then it's sensible that Saka is given this time to rest, obviously given it's only friendlies. England already qualified. Obviously Arsenal have important games to play, and he will be England's starting right winger in the World Cup, so as long as he's fit. On Noni Madueke, said feared the worst, but thankfully the injury is described as minor after the assessments. I'm told he's aiming for the Sporting/Bournemouth game. So obviously I don't know if that's a Sporting first leg, but I'm going to just say the Bournemouth game, which is only a week away, which is amazing. Obviously I think when we saw the injury, then saw that he was in a knee brace, obviously we fear the worst, but obviously sometimes these knee braces are given just to keep the knee in place, being someone that's had a knee injury, I know. And then also just to ensure that there's no risks before there's deeper scans, and obviously the rehab can be taking place. So maybe that's what saved him as well. And obviously if he's back for that Bournemouth game, it will be positive, because I'm pretty sure Madueke will want to play a lot of part in the season. He's been in some good form recently, so I was kind of sad seeing him injured already off the back of Eze, but let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks. But that's very positive news. On Martin Zubimendi, he said minor knee discomfort, assessed by Spain medics, and was sent home for recovery. Another one, I won't be shocked if he's rested again. I expect him to be rested against Southampton. You got Norgard there, you got Havertz, Lewis Skelly. You got options that you can play in midfield, in my opinion. And I don't think you need to risk Zubimendi, especially when we have some important games coming up, if he has especially knee discomfort as well. On Piero and KAPE, said, I'm told it's a minor knock. The player's taking precautions to rest and recover on the advice of the Ecuadorian medical staff. I don't know if Ecuador have already qualified for the World Cup. They might have already, but a similar thing. It seems like it's just more rest. I don't know if that means KAPE will be playing against Southampton, because obviously I do believe that he'll be important, especially in that Bournemouth Sporting game. But obviously Calafiori would have played back-to-back, probably 90 minutes for Italy. We'll put him straight in on Saturday after travelling. Let's see though, but that's positive anyways. On Eberechi Eze, he said the player is still in rehab for a lower leg injury, the calf injury. There's some optimism that he could be returned earlier than the original timeline, but one to monitor once he trains on grass again. So optimism is good. Obviously, it's a positive report, because I think they said 4 to 6 weeks. It's already been a week now, so let's say 3 to 5 weeks. Let's see what happens with Eze. Obviously, if Odegaard's back, we don't need to necessarily rush him back maybe the way we would have wanted to, but hopefully he recovers well. But positive news on the Eze and Madueke fronts, obviously seeming that they might be back sooner than was anticipated. On Max Darman, he says, I'm told he was sent home from his PE lesson by Steve, the supply teacher. The overlap could possibly do a whole segment on it. Who knows? I don't know if that's him being a bit sarcastic or if that's actually true, but I know Darman is playing for the 19s today. Obviously, I know school's in half term, so Easter holiday, so not like he would have been in school, but I don't know if that's a bit of a joke. Obviously, no news on Trossard, Saliba, or Gabriel, so I'm assuming those are just probably, they just stay back. Similar things, but they probably got the rest. Don't think they'll be included on the weekend from the start, but obviously that's positive. So, positive update, a lot of players as well. Obviously, major news is that we should have, and potentially could have, obviously Odegaard and Timber back for this weekend. Rice and Saka are okay. They've been playing in the red zone, but they're okay. Hikape was rested. Eze and Madueke should be back sooner than expected. And yeah, I think that's it. And Zubamendi also has a knock, but should be rested. So that's fine. But yeah, when you hear the details of that, you see that they've been sent home from their own international federations, go into the camp. Probably some of them playing one game already, if not at least training a couple of days. It makes you just see when you see people like Gabriel Bonlahor and Scholes and Carragher and all these these silly guys, man. Our ex-pros are saying nonsense, just ruining their credibility week after week because they want to jump on this, try and slay Arsenal train, and knowing that social media will swallow it up because opposition fans and everyone on social media are silly, so they're going to jump in. But you might not actually pros. Play there, done that, all around these players in these spaces, have access to information and tools and just things that we haven't. So to know this stuff, yeah, players like Gabriel Bonlahor, which HandOfArsenal, you said, had been sent back from international duty for a knock and then played in the next game when he was playing, I think, for Aston Villa. There you have it, bro. But positive news, obviously you'll see from Mikel's press conference, don't expect anything for him to give anything away, but at least we know players should be back fit, and I'm just excited to have the Arsenal back again, man. Excited. So comment down below what you guys think about this little news update. Comment down below, are you happy, are you annoyed, and what do you think about these haters constantly? Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and catch you guys in the next video.